ब्रह्मा, गणेश, नंदी।
Hello and welcome to Midday Prime. In the next 1 hour, we'll bring you up to speed with all the updates that we're getting from across the country as well as the world. From the latest in the impeachment bid of US President Donald Trump to the kind of anticipation that has been built up around the UNGA address of Prime Minister Modi, which is going to happen later this evening. But first up, as always, our big news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to address the United Nations General Assembly in New York tonight. He is likely to focus on issues ranging from terrorism to climate change. BRICS condemns all forms of terrorism, also urges developed countries to support developing countries for more effective international action on climate change. On World Tourism Day, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu confers National Tourism Awards, says tourism is the key driver for growth. Filing of nominations for Assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana begins today. The last date for filing of nomination papers is the 4th of October. Polling will be held on the 21st of October, while counting will take place on the 24th. In international news, US to send 200 troops, air defense missiles and radars to Saudi Arabia to strengthen its defense in the wake of the attack on its oil facilities earlier this month. And in sports, Indian men's hockey team beat Belgium in the opening game of the 5-match test series in Antwerp. Mandeep Singh and Akashdeep Singh score to secure a 2-0 win for India. Well, the 74th session of the UN General Assembly is underway in New York. Several world leaders have already spoken to highlight issues that matter to their countries the most. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the annual UN General Assembly session later this evening. The PM is likely to highlight his government's key initiatives towards poverty alleviation, affordable healthcare and steps taken to combat two global scourges, terrorism and climate change.
World leaders have gathered at the United Nations headquarters in New York City for the 74th session of the UN General Assembly. All eyes are on the general debate at the UN headquarters, where world leaders will highlight the issues that matter most to their countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to address the annual high-level UN General Assembly session on September 27th. Prime Minister Modi's speech at the UN General Assembly comes at a time when India is ready to play a larger role on the world stage. India has made significant improvements in almost all international rankings and indices. At various global platforms, India has forcefully raised the issue of terrorism and said no country in the world today was safe from it. India, a victim of cross-border terrorism, has called for efforts to eliminate terrorism in all its forms. India has maintained that a terrorist attack anywhere in the world should be considered as terrorism, not good or bad terrorism.
आतंकवाद का जो मोड है वो बदल रहा है। पहले था कि ह्यूमन बीइंग्स क्रॉस करते थे बॉर्डर या अब आजकल जो इंटरनेट और कनेक्टिविटी हो गई है उसमें आतंकवाद का डेफिनेशन ही बदल गया है। इंटरनेट को ये टेररिस्ट नैरेटिव से अलग करवाएं और ये एक मुद्दा है जो हम जिसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे क्योंकि ये दुनिया में आज उभरता हुआ मुद्दा है।
India has also emphasized the need for an early adoption of the Comprehensive Convention on Global Terrorism. Due to growing prominence of India on the world stage, India has also called for an early reform of the UN Security Council and expansion of its permanent and non-permanent members. India has said that the 21st century had its own set of challenges and the United Nations needs to reflect contemporary realities.
India's place in the world is very different from what it was before. Even from 5 years ago, things have changed. There is a greater desire for the world and a large number of countries to engage with us more intensely. Reformed multilateralism is a persistent theme in India's approach towards international affairs.
Besides, efforts for poverty alleviation, affordable healthcare services to all, quality education would be another area. Other areas of focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address at the UN General Assembly. In the face of worsening climate change, Prime Minister may also draw attention to world leaders towards some of the key initiatives towards climate change, including campaigns against single-use plastic. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Ujala Scheme, Saubhagya Scheme, Zero Effect, Zero Defect policy, among others. The Prime Minister may also point out the country's remarkable progress in moving towards achieving sustainable development goals. In his previous address at the UN General Assembly in 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had received standing ovation from the world leaders after he introduced to them the benefits of yoga.
योग हमारी पुरातन पारंपरिक अमूल्य देन है। योग मन व शरीर, विचार व कर्म, संयम व उपलब्धि की एकात्मता का तथा मानव व प्रकृति के बीच सामंजस्य का मूर्त रूप है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is leading efforts to scrap single-use plastic by 2022, is set to launch the campaign against single-use plastic on the 2nd of October, the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi.
India is shaping the global discourse and leading by example in the fight against climate change. It is making serious efforts towards disaster risk reduction. It is setting new global benchmarks with the pace with which it is moving towards attaining sustainable development goals, from poverty and hunger eradication to providing quality healthcare and education. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the 74th session of the UNGA come 27 September, he is expected to highlight the progress that India is making towards becoming a new India, lead global action and make a renewed pitch for reformed multilateralism and for solidarity in the fight against terrorism. With cameraman Loknath in New York, Munmun Bhattacharya for DD News and DD India.
Okay, now just to get a quick understanding of the issues which India has laid the most emphasis upon at previous UNGA meets, we've done a word cloud on the most often used words in 2 UN headquarters speeches. First, let's tell you about Prime Minister Modi's 2014 speech just months after he became the country's head of government for the first time. Well, the most often used word for the PM was about 23 times, which was world. You know, that's the largest word that we got for you. And then, of course, it was followed closely by India, which was 20 times. Terrorism is also figuring pretty high on the list, along with terrorists, used 18 times. Development was used 10 times, and it came next, followed closely by peace, which figured 9 times in the speech. Nature and climate came next, being used 9 times together. Action and future have been used 5 times each. In Pakistan, 4, along with energy and security. Yoga, peaceful and peacekeeping thrice, council and climate twice, and multilateralism as well as environment once. Now, if you look at a more contemporary or more latest version of how India's put across its point at the world stage, let's also get you a quick look at the word cloud for the then External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's address at the same venue just last year, because that reflects a more updated India stance on global issues. Now, if you look at Sushma Swaraj's word cloud, India again used 33 times. Pakistan got a major tongue lashing in that speech, which is why it figured 14 times. Terrorism and terrorism put together were used 15 times, very close to the number of mentions for Pakistan, coincidentally. Climate and peace came next with 4 mentions each. Development got mentioned thrice. Multilateralism and multilateral got 2 mentions each, while secure, energy and future got 1 mention each. So that basically tells us the kind of emphasis on different issues that India has laid at the world stage in recent years. Now, moving on, at the BRICS meet, the ministers reaffirmed their commitment to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals and called for redoubled efforts for its timely implementation. It was also highlighted that a ban on single-use plastic recently announced by the Government of India is now a major pursuit for the government. It was also the fact that there was a welcoming of the special focus of the high-level segment on the UN GA74 on sustainable development and the holding of the climate and SDG summits and high-level events on health and financing for development.
I want to highlight that Prime Minister Modi participated in the UN 2019 Climate Summit, which was held on 23 September, and reiterated our continued commitment to fight against climate change. India has announced the start of a large-scale national campaign to address plastic pollution and called for a stop to the single use of plastics. India has also hosted the COP14 of the UN Convention on Combating Desertification earlier this month. India looks forward to working on various themes and with all relevant stakeholders during India's presidency of COP from 2019 to 21.
Now, on the crisis of fugitive economic offenders, the External Affairs Minister has said that this continues to be a grave reason for economic slowdown. He also urged his BRICS counterparts to work in the direction to tackle this problem.
That of fugitive economic offenders. We in the BRICS need to continue to work together against economic offenders and fugitives. It has emerged as a serious threat to developing economies by illegally diverting assets away from their developmental agenda. We look forward to your continuing attention and support on this important issue.
The External Affairs Minister also came out strongly against terrorism in a series of tweets. He said, and I quote, "Ours is really not just a story of missed opportunities, but also of deliberate obstacles. Terrorism is among them." He added that, and I quote, "In our view, elimination of terrorism in all its forms is a precondition not only for fruitful cooperation, but also for the very survival of our region itself." Back home, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has called upon paramilitary forces, police and civil administration in the Kashmir Valley to win the hearts and minds of the people and immediately respond to emergencies and any issues raised by the people. Chairing a high-level meeting in Srinagar on Thursday, Ajit Doval gave clear instructions to the security forces and administration that in view of the reports that Pakistan-sponsored terror outfits may carry out some demonstrative and sensational acts of terrorism, the security of vital installations must be ensured and all arrangements regarding strict vigilance be made a priority. Ajit Doval was on the second visit to the Kashmir Valley after the 5th of August. He was apprised that Pakistan-sponsored terrorists as well as their outfits have been indulging in various atrocities on people, killing shopkeepers, threatening and intimidating fruit growers. He directed all concerned departments and agencies to take strict action against such elements and help the last man standing as much as possible. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh in Nepal has organized a seminar on Article 370 of the Constitution of India, its perception and reality in Kathmandu. Now, it urged countries across the world to support Indian government's decision on Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. They also called all to be aware and informed about the state, its people and cross-border terrorism issue. RSS Nepal has said that they firmly believe that India has the acumen to resolve this matter peacefully. Here's a report.
Sevak Sangh's Akhil Bharatiya Prachar Pramukh Arun Kumar has urged countries across the world to support Government of India's decision on Jammu and Kashmir. Delivering a keynote address on Article 370 of the Constitution of India, Perception and Reality in Kathmandu last evening, he said that the decision was taken as per the provisions of Indian Constitution for development and prosperity of the people.
Pakistan जो है 47, 65, 71 कारगिल उसने अटैक किया, लगातार वो आतंकवाद को बढ़ा रहा है। परिणाम क्या है? दुनिया की इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी को पाकिस्तान से सवाल करना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड जम्मू कश्मीर के 2 लाख परिवार, 50,000 लोगों की हत्या हुई थी 47 में। जम्मू कश्मीर भारत का हिस्सा है, जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग भारत के लोग हैं, भारत के लोग जिसमें जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग शामिल है, वो और अपने देश के संविधान के अंतर्गत अपने देश के उत्थान और विकास के अंदर अपनी भूमिका अदा करें और भारत के संविधान के जो लाभ सबको मिल रहे हैं वो लाभ वहां के लोगों को मिले। इसके लिए भारत सरकार ने कोई निर्णय किया है तो उसके लिए पूरी दुनिया का हर देश की सरकार उसको समर्थन करना चाहिए।
Arun Kumar said that there is some misinformation or lack of information about the people within India and abroad about Jammu and Kashmir. He made a presentation with facts and figures to clear myths and said that the real problem of Jammu and Kashmir is cross-border terrorism.
Across the party line लोगों ने सपोर्ट किया, इवन जिन पार्टी ने अपोज किया उन पार्टीज के भी बहुत सारे लोगों ने अपनी पार्टीज को कहा कि वी आर ऑन वन पाथ, हमको इसको सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। भारत के लोगों की विल, टोटल सोसाइटी उसके पीछे आकर खड़ी थी, पीपल का भी पूरा सपोर्ट था, मीडिया का भी सपोर्ट था। मुझे मेरे मन में आता है कि दुनिया में परेशान कौन है, तो दुनिया में केवल एक देश परेशान है इसको लेकर, जिस देश में आधे से ज्यादा समय मिलिट्री रूल रहा।
Indian ambassador to Nepal, Manjeev Singh Puri, said the decision was taken after a thorough debate in Parliament.
All of them were debated in the Indian Parliament, thoroughly debated over 2-3 days, and thereafter passed with huge numbers and huge majority in the Indian Parliament. They have therefore the imprimatur, जिसको कहते हैं मोहर, भारत के लोगों का मोहर।
The talk was organized by Niti Anusandhan Pratishthan Nepal and the National Law College in Nepal.
Now, Minister of State for Defence Shripad Yesso Naik has said that the government is committed to the development of the defence industry and modernization of the armed forces. Addressing an event in New Delhi, he said that Make in India should be promoted in the defence sector. He also said that by reducing dependence on imports, there will be strategic self-reliance.
It's a time Indian armed forces fought wars in the subcontinent with Indian industry-made weapons system. Our government is pursuing the military modernization with a great amount of persuasion. Our government is looking at the big picture, that of strategic independence. This can be effectively established only if we can reduce the import dependence.
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu presented National Tourism Awards 2017 and 18 today at Vigyan Bhavan. Addressing the gathering, the Vice President called upon the youth to visit tourist destinations in the country to understand the rich cultural heritage of India. He added that travelling teaches many things and it introduces us to diverse cultures of the world. The Vice President added that the theme this year, tourism and job, will prove effective towards employment generation, thereby making it a key driver for growth. Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism Prahlad Singh Patel and United Nations World Tourism Organization Secretary General Zurab Polodekashvili were present on the occasion.
The United Nations World Tourism Organization has selected India as the host country for celebration of World Tourism Day. That the theme for the World Tourism Day is tourism and jobs, a better future for all. Tourism is a major engine of economic growth and an important source of employment and foreign exchange earnings in many countries, including India. In this context, this theme is more appropriate as it acknowledges the capacity of tourism to create large-scale employment opportunities, an important role it plays in achieving growth with equity and substantiality.
The awards are being presented as today is World Tourism Day and India is hosting the day for the first time. This year the theme is Tourism and Jobs, a better future for all. Now, this aims at creating awareness about various economic benefits of tourism and its growth as in the job sector. Here is a presentation.
The United Nations World Tourism Organization celebrates 27 September as the World Tourism Day since 1980. Each year, the day sees a new theme and a new country as a host. This year, for the first time, India is hosting World Tourism Day with the theme Tourism and Jobs, a better future for all. As the theme goes, the main objective of the program is to open more avenues for job seekers in the field of tourism. The aim is to create awareness about various benefits of tourism that may otherwise remain inaccessible. India is one of the most popular tourist destinations in terms of its enthralling landscapes to rich flora and fauna. It has a vast variety of landscapes to travel over and diverse cultures to scout and learn about. Its every corner has so much to offer and has always attracted tourists from across the globe. From Venkaiah to Vasco da Gama, all have travelled to India and documented its practices and happenings for historical references. With a surging number of foreign tourists, today India is a global platform for investment and economic growth. According to the Tourism Ministry, the number of foreign travellers is also on the rise as 10.5 million foreign tourists visited India in 2018. India was chosen as the host country as it has wide geographical entity than the rest of Asia. India can offer a tourist different tourism choices, diverse cuisines, arts, faiths, music forms, adventure places, history and even language. Be it the land of dawn Arunachal Pradesh or awesome Assam, beautiful Bengal or blissful Bihar, and the enchanting Tamil Nadu or God's own country, Kerala, India welcomes guests with open arms to live its lively beauty. Festivals like Kumbh Mela, Rath Yatra, Thrissur Puram portray our rich culture and diverse heritage. Today, tourism is generating 10% of the world jobs, and tourism has emerged as a leading business industry in many countries. The objective is to acquaint people with social, cultural, political and economic importance. As we say, the world is nothing but a book, and travelling is the best way to read that book. The desire to explore new places and cultures has helped the world to come together and connect effectively. Sangamitra Sahu's report, DD News.
Now, the Supreme Court has asked all the parties to the Ayodhya land dispute case to specify the time frame for completing arguments, saying that there will not be any extra time after the 18th of October. The court asked the Muslim parties to wrap up their arguments on the Archaeological Survey of India, that's the ASI's report, during the course of the day. It said there are holidays in October and only one advocate of the 4 Hindu parties will be allowed to give rejoinder arguments. Let me go across to my colleague Vikas Sathi for more on this. Vikas, just tell us how is the progression of the case right now? Does it look like, in terms of this 18th of October deadline, the entire hearing, the entire set of arguments are on cue?
Gautam, as of now, the Muslim parties have been arguing before the court, and today also court reminded all the concerned parties that Supreme Court will not extend this matter, not even for a day. 18th October will be deadline for all parties to conclude their arguments. Again, court today, though court expressed some kind of apprehension that it seems that we are running behind the schedule, but at the same time, court asked the Council of Muslim Parties that how much time they need, because yesterday also court said that the argument on the correctness of ASI report must be concluded by Thursday. Though again, the Council appearing for Muslim parties argued on the ASI report today also, and after that court said that now we will not allow anyone to go further on these issues, and every council will have to adhere the time given to them. They must follow the schedule. Though another council for Muslim parties, Shekhar Nafde, today said that he needs almost 2 hours to argue, but court said that already arguments have been pressed upon the ASI report and court cannot give more time. And so far as the hearing of today is concerned, hearing has been concluded for the day, and now court will hear this matter on Monday. It was scheduled earlier also that on Friday Supreme Court will hear this matter up to only 1 p.m. and today's hearing has been concluded again. But court again, when court was rising, reminded all the concerned councils that they must complete their arguments by 18th of October.
Right, and Vikas, everyone is sticking to the kind of pace that the Supreme Court is trying to set, and just tell us, for the benefit of all our viewers, as to why is it so necessary to finish all the arguments by the 18th?
Gautam, the court has said that so far as the counter arguments of Hindu side is concerned, court will give specific time to each and every council and will try its best to conclude all the hearing by 18th of October. If court feels that it has not enough time to complete the arguments, then it may work in extended hours as well. What happened from Tuesday to Thursday, Supreme Court said till 5 p.m. and court may do it again in next week also. If court feels that it is not getting enough time to complete all the arguments, then it may extend its working hours up to 5 p.m. or if needed, it may extend further. It may hear matter up to 5:30 or 6 p.m. as well.
Right. And why exactly is this being done?
Well, Gautam, court says that it needs at least 1 month's time to write down this judgment. It's a very cumbersome judgment. So it's a constitution bench. All 5 judges will express their individual opinions, and because of that, court needs at least 1 month. In fact, yesterday court said that it will be a miracle if we can deliver this verdict within 4 weeks. But court will try its best, and it is very likely that court will deliver the verdict within 4 weeks, because Chief Justice of India is retiring on 17th of November, and if all parties conclude their arguments by 18th, then the Constitution Bench will have almost a month to decide this issue.
Right. And if the verdict doesn't come by the 17th of November, what happens?
Well, that's a hypothetical situation, Gautam, but there are 2 options. First is that term can be extended. Term of Supreme Court judges, Chief Justice can be extended, but that's a hypothetical situation. Court is determined to conclude this matter by 18th of October. Today, court cut down the hearing time of one of the counsel from 2 hours to first 45 minutes. Then court said that you are repeating your arguments. We cannot allow more time to you. So it is determined. Court is determined to complete these arguments by 18th of October. Then it will have almost 1 month to decide this matter.
Okay, Vikas, we'll have to leave it there at the moment. Thanks a lot for joining us for the time being. Clearly, this matter is being given a lot of import by the top court, and that to the Constitution Bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, and premium is being placed on concluding matters so that a speedy judgment could be delivered as well in this case, which has been pending for several decades. Now, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, named in a money laundering case by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with a scam at the Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank, said that he won't be going to the agency's office later in the day, as announced by him earlier this week. Pawar's decision came after Mumbai Police Commissioner Sanjay Barve met him at his residence in Mumbai and requested him not to visit the ED's office, as it may create a law and order situation. Pawar had announced that he would visit the ED office at 2 p.m, even though the agency has not summoned him yet. Talking to reporters, Sharad Pawar thanked the Shiv Sena and the Congress for backing him on the ED action issue, adding the agency's action gave an impression that opposition leaders were being targeted. Let me go across for a quick update to Shishir Shelar, my colleague, joining us on the phone line from Mumbai. Shishir, just tell us about this very curious sequence of events.
Well, absolutely, Gautam. Today, Sharad Pawar was supposed to go to the ED office. That's what he said a couple of days back when he had a press conference. And earlier this week, when his name came up in the money laundering case, as far as the Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank scam is concerned. And later on, Sharad Pawar said that he would visit today to ED office and he will answer all the questions or whatever queries ED has. But on the other hand, ED has said that they have not summoned anyone so far in this case, and that's the reason there's no point of interrogating or investigating with Mr. Sharad Pawar here. Well, in spite of that, Sharad Pawar said that probably he'll be busy for the election campaign, because the election is just ahead around the corner now in Maharashtra, and that's the reason he'll be out of Mumbai. So he said that people made his question that why Pawar is not appearing before ED, and that's the reason he said that I will appear by myself to the ED office, and whatever interrogation they have to do, information they required, will present it by myself. But today, when Pawar is about to go to the ED office, in the morning we have heard that the police have actually cordoned off the entire area here. And the reason behind is because NCP worker had staged protests in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra in the last few days here. And anticipating the similar protest, actually, the prohibitory orders, movement of group of people under Section 144 of the CRPC have been enforced, outside the ED office in Mumbai and the southern part of Mumbai, the South Mumbai area as well. Well, looking at this entire scenario, Sharad Pawar have taken a decision, and he said that he will not visit to ED office. Rather, whenever there will be call, someone from the ED office will definitely appear and will answer the questions, or whichever support the ED required, he will definitely give it. But he also said one thing, that he has nothing to do with this case. As far as the scam is concerned, he also said that he was not on any post when the scam happened. Neither he was director of the bank, associated with the bank, or with any other the cooperative institution that the bank has disbursed loan to. And that's the reason he had argument that I've never been associated with anyone, and that's the reason unnecessarily the name has been roped in by the ED. That's what delegation made by the Sharad Pawar.
Yes, but the allegations are entirely different from what Sharad Pawar claims, aren't they, Shishir? Because there is a complainant, a person who's a bit of a whistleblower of sorts, who's named Sharad Pawar as, the hand behind everything.
Well, absolutely. Gautam, you have to understand that Sharad Pawar has said that this action by the ED is a politically motivated, it's a political vendetta that the government is running right now. But we should understand that the entire case actually came up when the NCP Congress government was in power in Maharashtra. It was not the NDA government who initiated this action. It is during Congress and the NCP government, and the then Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan initiated the inquiry. Later on, we have seen here that there was a change of power in the Maharashtra, and then NDA government came, and then the NDA government have started that process again here. So obviously, the question here of political vendetta doesn't arise here. And even this point in time, the order was given by the Mumbai High Court here, because just last month in August, the Mumbai High Court have asked the Mumbai police that why they have not filed any FIR against this particular scam case, and that's the reason the police have said that they're still gathering the all the evidence here. But obviously, the Mumbai court has said that the given evidence are quite enough, the prima facie are quite enough, and that's the reason they should file an FIR on it. And acting upon it, the Mumbai police have filed an FIR. Subsequently, it goes to the ED office. Enforcement director have taken cognizance of it, and later on, the ED have also started working on it. That's the reason they have sent. They have added the names of Sharad Pawar also, along with the former Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, along with other 70 officials of the bank here. And this is how the process is started here. So obviously the question of political vendetta or politically motivated doesn't arise from the government perspective.
Yes, Shishir, but whatever be the circumstances at the moment, right now, of course, the prospect of the elections coming up is colouring everything else. But at the end of the day, the law of the land must prevail, and if any wrongdoing has been committed, then that should also be accounted for. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Shishir Selar. Okay, now some update as far as the Bypolls are concerned. Well, some good news for the BJP that's coming in from Tripura, where it has won the Badharghat Assembly seat in the Bypoll. BJP's candidate Mimi Majumdar has won that particular seat. And if we talk about Kerala, well, the ruling CPIM-led LDF has won the by-election to the Pala Assembly constituency, wresting the seat from the opposition Congress-led UDF. LDF candidate Manisi Kapan defeated Joe Storm Pudikunel of the opposition Congress-led UDF in a closely contested fight. And the process of filing nomination papers for the Maharashtra and Haryana Assembly elections has begun today with the issuance of notification. The last date for filing nominations is the 4th of October. Scrutiny of nomination papers will be taking place on the 5th. The Commission has set the 7th of October as the deadline for candidates to withdraw nominations. Polling for the 288 seats in Maharashtra and 90 seats in Haryana will be held on the 21st of October, while counting of votes will take place on the 24th. Now, US space agency NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mission has imaged the targeted landing site of India's Chandrayaan-2 lander Vikram. In a tweet, NASA shared the images that were taken at dusk. It said that the team was not able to locate the lander. More images will be taken in October during a flyby when the light is favorable. And now in Midday Prime, it's time to get you all the updates from the world of business and economy. And for all the business updates, we've got Rukma.
Thank you very much, Gautam. And viewers, let's begin by taking a look at our top story in the world of finance. CBDT has extended the September 30th deadline by a month for filing of income tax returns for special cases requiring audit reports. The new deadline is October 31st. On consideration of representations from across the country, CBDT has decided to extend the due date for filing of ITRs and tax audit reports from the 30th of September 2019 to 31st of October 2019 in respect of persons whose accounts are required to be audited. It said a formal notification for the same will be issued soon. The GST network, the IT backbone of the indirect tax system, on Thursday unveiled an online refund process as decided by the GST Council. With the deployment of online refund functionality, taxpayers can now file refund application in RFD-01 form easily, and tax officers can process the same online. GST network said in a statement. All communication between taxpayers and tax officers will also be online. The online refund process has become effective from September 25, 2019 on the GST portal, it said. Earlier, the refund processing was done for both central and state GST by one tax authority, to whom the taxpayer was assigned administratively, but disbursement was done by accounting authorities of central and state tax departments separately. And in market news, domestic stock markets recovered early losses to clock mild gains today morning amid weakness in Asian peers on global growth concerns. The S&P BSE Sensex index declined as much as 174.95 points from the previous close to touch 38,814.79 on the downside before spurting 292.58 points from that level to touch 39,107.37 on the upside. The broader NSE Nifty benchmark climbed to as much as 11,593.60 within the first hour of trade amid high volatility after hitting 11,516.80 at the day's lowest level. And that's all in Business Prime. It's back to Gautam for the rest of the bulletin.
Thanks a lot, Rukma. And now we're going to turn to the world of all the global updates. The United States has announced a deployment of 200 troops as well as Patriot missiles to Saudi Arabia to help the country's defense in the wake of last month's attacks on its oil installations. The Defense Department has said the deployment would involve one battery of the surface-to-air missiles along with 4 Sentinel radars used for air and missile defense systems. In addition, 2 more Patriot batteries and 1 THAAD ballistic missile interception system are being readied in case a decision is made to also supply them to the Saudis. The US asserted that the decision demonstrates commitment to regional partners and the security and stability in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Iran has reiterated that it can discuss other issues with the United States, providing its 2015 nuclear deal with 6 powers is fully implemented. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has said that Tehran's missile capabilities were not negotiable. Rouhani also touched upon the subject of swaps of US and Iranian prisoners, saying Iran had released 1 prisoner but the US failed to reciprocate. Former French President Jacques Chirac, a major force in French politics who opposed the 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq, died in Paris on Thursday at the age of 86. Chirac gained international notoriety near the start of his second term when he stood up to President George W. Bush as the American leader pushed his case for war with Iraq at the United Nations. A dominant figure in French politics for 4 decades, Chirac's career included 2 presidential terms, 2 stints as Prime Minister and nearly 2 decades as the Mayor of Paris. During his 2 terms as French President, Chirac took his country into the single European currency. The French National Assembly held a minute's silence in honor of former French President Jacques Chirac. France has declared a national day of mourning on the Monday, that is the 30th of September, for the former president. 8 people were injured slightly after a moderate 5.7 magnitude earthquake shook buildings and damaged 2 mosques in Istanbul. The top section of a minaret had collapsed at the central mosque in Istanbul's Avcılar district close to the Marmara Sea. Another minaret collapsed in the Sarıyer district of the city. The tremor was at a depth of 12.6 kilometers and the epicenter was located 70 kilometers to the west of Istanbul in the Marmara Sea. 3 major seismic fault lines crisscross Istanbul, which straddles Europe and Asia. Now, efforts to douse the fire are underway after a Russian trawler which had caught fire capsized in Tromsø in northern Norway. The fire rescue operations are under progress and efforts are being made to prevent an oil spill as far as possible. As cited by Coast Guards, there are around 2 lakh litres of diesel fuel on board and no incident of death has been reported on the Bukta Nesnik. To avoid havoc and chaos, the University Hospital of North Norway and several schools in the area have been closed and approximately 100 people residing near the fire have been evacuated from the scene. Measures have also been taken to limit any oil spill that may take place. There were no reports of fatalities on board the Bukta Nesnik. Police have not confirmed the cause of the fire as yet. University Hospital of North Norway has closed parts of its operations and several schools in the area are also closed, while approximately 100 people in the vicinity of the fire have been evacuated from the scene. And it's time now to get you all the updates from the world of sports. Let's take you across now to Tapas Bhattacharya for all the sporting updates.
Thanks. Let's start with wrestling. And silver medalist at the recently concluded World Wrestling Championship, Deepak Punia, has jumped to the world #1 position in the 86 kg category. But Bajrang Punia has lost his top spot in the 65 kg in the latest rankings issued by the United World Wrestling. Competing in his maiden senior world championship, Deepak settled for a silver after an ankle injury forced him to pull out of the final against Iranian great Hassan Yazdani. The 20-year-old now has 82 points, 4 more than world champion Yazdani. However, Bajrang, who went into the world championship as world #1, dropped to #2 spot after managing a bronze. The 25-year-old now has 63 points, while Russia's Rashidov, who won the gold in Nur Sultan, is the new world #1 in the 65 kg category. Moving to Women T20, the second Women's T20 International between India and South Africa was washed out on Thursday without a ball being bowled. Persistent rain meant even the toss could not take place. India lead the 5-match series 1-0. The hosts managed to defend 130 in the series opener, with spinner Deepti Sharma producing a match-winning effort, ending with the phenomenal figures of 3 for 8 in 4 overs, including 3 maidens. The third T20 will be played on 29th of September. A good news coming from badminton court. India's P. Kashyap stormed into the semi-final of the Korea Open. In the quarter-final, Kashyap defeated world number 23 Jan Jorgensen with 24-22, 21-8. Kashyap will be up against world #1 Kento Momoto next in the semi-final on Saturday. Meanwhile, Mandeep Singh and Akashdeep Singh scored in the second half to help Indian men's hockey team a 2-0 win over an experimental Belgium side in the opening game of the 3-match test series in Belgium. Mandeep and Akashdeep sounded the board in the 39th and 54th minute respectively to seal the match in India's favour. The second game will be played tomorrow. News now from football field. India will take on Maldives in the semi-final of the SAF Under-18 Football Championship in Kathmandu today. The match will start in a short while from now, and India had earlier defeated Sri Lanka by 3-0 margin in the last league match, while it was held to a goalless draw by Bangladesh in the opening game. The first semi-final between Bangladesh and Bhutan will be played at 10:45 Indian Standard Time, where host Nepal and Sri Lanka has already crashed out of the championship so far. Now moving to Fit India movement. Fit India movement is a nationwide movement to encourage people remain healthy and fit by including physical activities and sport in their daily lives. Started on 29th of August this year, Fit India movement has gathered momentum in the country, and two of India's brightest young squash talents, Anahat Singh and Amira Singh, have supported the initiative. Fit India movement has gathered momentum in the country, and taking cue from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call is two of India's brightest young squash talents, Anahat Singh and Amira Singh. Both sisters had a fairy tale run so far. 16-year-old Amira went on to win bronze at the DPT Dutch Junior Open. Amira, who is ranked inside the top 4 in the country, said that Fit India campaign could be a game changer for the country and believed that playing squash is a great way to promote the concept of Fit India.
I really loved playing squash. I enjoyed it a lot more than other sports. It also helped me develop my fitness quite a bit. Overall fitness is very important for everyone. The Fit India movement is very important, as since I said fitness is very important. It helps you stay healthy, and it improves your mental and physical well-being.
Amira's younger sister Anahat is just 11-year-old and has scaled even more heights in the game. In a span of 3 years, Anahat has won 36 national and 5 international titles and is seated number 1 in the country. The current under-11 British junior champion has also won gold at the European Junior Open and is playing the game since she was just 6-year-old.
I've been playing squash for the past 3 to 4 years, and my recent win was the European and Dutch Junior Open, where I came first. I'm number 1 in India and number 4 in Asia. I like the game as it's a fast game and I'm really active, and I like to run around, and it's a fun game to play.
With Prime Minister Narendra Modi throwing his weight behind the initiative, there is little doubt that fitness has come to be the main point of agenda among the countrymen. The Fit India movement launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken the country by storm. The leading the bandwagon is the woman power, and the classic example of that is the story of Amira and Anahat Singh. Both these ladies playing squash and making sure that they make the country proud. With cameraman Smurti Ranjan, this is Tapush Bhattacharya, TD News, Delhi. Well, that's all from Sports Prime. Back to you, Gautam, for more news and updates.
Thank you, Tapas. And now it's time for us to get to our segment, which is the softer side of hard news, and that's called Live Prime. Now, to implement the vision of Swasth Bharat and Samriddh Bharat, the impact of Ayushman Bharat Yojana of the Modi government is visible in rural areas. Poor people suffering from major diseases are now getting free treatment under the scheme and living a new healthy life. Take a look at this report from Vaishali in Bihar.
Mahesh Singh, a resident of Bajitpur village in Vaishali district, never thought of getting a new life without spending a single paise from his pocket on the treatment. Mahesh was diagnosed with pain in his hand which led to his heart. The doctors advised him to undergo a heart surgery. The cost was around 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees. Mahesh went to many hospitals including AIIMS in Delhi, but everywhere the doctors told him to undergo heart surgery. They said there was no other remedy. The doctors even told him to get treated as soon as possible if he wants to live.
पटना गए तो वही हार्ट के बीमारी बताया डॉक्टर साहब एक्सरा में, देखिए आपको नस बैठ रहा है, तो नस बैठने के वही दवाई चला, दवाई चलने से तो ठीक हो गए वहाँ से पूरा, अभी ठीक है.
When family members of Mahesh came to know about his heart problem and the expenses it involved, they were all in deep shock. They had no idea how the family will bear the cost of his treatment.
He suffered with heart-related problem. Medicines cured his heart, still 2 stents were placed in his heart. We were facing financial problem. My son told me about the Ayushman Bharat Yojana. My husband is now fine.
Manoranjan, son of Mahesh Singh, was in huge trouble and was not able to arrange money for his father's treatment. Manoranjan inquired a lot and finally he got to know about Ayushman Bharat Yojana. He applied for the health card and took his father for free treatment. All expenses of the treatment was paid by the government under the scheme. Now Mahesh Singh is totally fit and fine and living life with full confidence. The whole family is praising PM Modi and the Ayushman Bharat Yojana.
हमको पता चला जो विद्युपुर हॉस्पिटल से जो कि एक आयुष्मान भारत कार्ड बनवाना होगा, तो राशन कार्ड से मैं अपना आयुष्मान भारत कार्ड बनवा लिया और IGIC पटना में जाकर के मैं अपने पिताजी का इलाज कराया.
In recent years, the medical field has witnessed a lot of technological advancements which has made treatment of major ailments possible. Now, under Ayushman Bharat Yojana, any poor can get the treatment up to the cost of rupees 5 lakh. Bureau Report, DD News.
Now, poor diet and nutrition during adolescence can impair the work capacity and productivity of adolescent boys and girls in their later years. Important nutrients that are needed to be increased during adolescence include energy, protein, calcium as well as iron.
Poor nutrition in adolescent girls is a major concern. Adolescence is the transition period between childhood and adulthood, a window of opportunity for the improvement of nutritional status and correcting poor nutritional practices.
Anemia in our country in adolescents, girls, is so prevalent that in a recent study, the adolescent anemia in the girls was prevalent to the extent of 80%. So if we try and understand, this anemia itself leads to anemia in pregnant mothers and that leads to the death of pregnant mothers. So adolescent nutrition can really help in correcting so many things. And the other aspect is that the nutrition has a role in terms of the energy which goes into the girl, because the energy is what the level of activity which determines the level of activity, how energetic a girl would be, and an adolescent girl is still growing. So if the girl is not taking a diet, is not taking a balanced diet which has adequate amount of protein in it, then the growth of the girl will get hampered.
Adolescent nutrition is important for supporting the physical growth of the body and preventing future health problems. All parents should pay particular attention to the nutritional needs of teenagers.
Nutrition becomes very important at this crucial stage of life, that there are 5 components of food that we need to take care of. One is the cereals which give us energy, the proteins which give us energy and they make bones and repair our tissues. Then there is dairy and the milk products which also contain proteins and which are very important components. Then there are fruits which should be taken up, and water and roughage. Out of the 5 meals, you should have 3 major and 2 minor meals. So this is about what kind of a food you should take and how many times you should take. And also remember to add color. You know, everybody should add color to their life. But if you add color to the food, it gives you vitamins and minerals like iron and various vitamins, which is so very important for your skin, you know, for your blood, because it gives you iron.
Any nutritional deficiency experienced during this critical period of life can have an effect on the future health of the individual and their offspring. Children born to short and thin women are more likely themselves to be stunted and underweight. Adolescence is the time to prepare for the nutritional demands of pregnancy and lactation that girls may experience in later life. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
Devoid of any ropes or safety harnesses, Swiss alpinist Danny Arnold set a record time of 46 minutes 30 seconds climbing Cima Grande. Danny climbed a 550-meter high mountain face, which is part of the Tre Cime di Lavaredo in the Italian Alps. Breaking the previous record by just under 19 minutes, the 35-year-old now holds the free solo climbing record on 4 of the 6 major European North Mountain faces. And now it's time to wrap up Midday Prime, but we leave you with a positive thought to kickstart, to make up the rest of your day. There's no such thing as lack of time, only lack of focus. We can all do the things we really want to do. Our image of the day is glimpses of a Lego exhibition in Denmark where coral reef and rock band are on show. Take a look and have a great day ahead.